Wow, I am struggling today. Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
Reviews. Not great, obviously. This is our new review show. Our second episode, we did Avatar last week, and this week we're going to talk about Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. It is now available on Netflix to stream. It was in theaters for like 2 days, so if you blinked, you missed it. And we can talk about whether or not that was a mistake by Netflix. But it is now available as of yesterday on Netflix, and we are here to tell you whether you should see it. And this is spoiler free because this is one of those movies you don't want spoiled before you go in to see it, but you might want to know if it's worth seeing. So we had some technical difficulties before. Hopefully I'll fix it in editing.
If not, whatever. It's welcome. Fine.
If not, yep, that's right. All right, so Glass Onions. Oh my gosh.
Knives Out, Glass Onion, Rian Johnson film. This is the second movie in the Knives Out series.
Yes.
And Rian Johnson was very, very specific about the fact that he only wanted this in theaters for a limited amount of time. So okay. I don't know if Netflix and him did like
I heard the opposite.
Yeah, I heard he didn't. You heard it was a Netflix thing and not a Rian Johnson thing?
I heard that Netflix only wanted it in theaters for a short period of time and that he tried to get it to stay longer, but they wanted more signups for Netflix.
See,
so
I could totally be wrong. This is the thing. When you read things all over the interwebs, you hear whatever you need to hear. Yeah. So for me, I think it was a mistake to not carry the movie until at least a week before it went on Netflix. That's about the standard. It's like put it in theaters, have it a week just to get people excited, and then
there was nothing else out there. It would have cleaned up.
Yeah. Well, I think it really would have, and I think similar to Knives Out, when that came out, it was one of those that like I hadn't really heard a whole lot about it before it came out. I'd heard about Glass Onion before it came out, obviously, but then people went and saw it, and word of mouth started like snowballing, and it was like, you've got to go see this movie. And I think that it would have been similar with Glass Onion, because I think, I'll be honest, I didn't know how you could capture the same lightning in a bottle like they did with Knives Out in a sequel. How do you build on that? And we'll talk about whether or not they did it, but I think word of mouth would have caught on with this as well, and I think they would have made a lot of money. I think you're right, Tracy. This year for the holiday season, there wasn't a lot released in theaters. I mean, there's Avatar, which is doing really well,
but when I think this would have done.
But they were weeks apart.
Yeah, they were weeks apart.
It was only like Black Adam, and that wasn't doing great. So I mean, it would have,
and it deserved to not do great. I mean, when we're honest,
it's so true.
So, Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like the fact that we watched Dwayne Johnson try and do a coup of the DC studios and failed. And now he's kind of, and I like Dwayne. I like The Rock a lot, but that was a very interesting couple of weeks there.
Yeah, it has been an interesting couple of weeks, but let's talk about Glass Onion. So like I said, I wasn't sure that they could capture that same lightning in a bottle. But I feel like they did it. I like the approach that they took. I had someone ask me if you need to see Knives Out before you see Glass Onion. And the reality is you don't. This is very similar to like an Agatha Christie Heracles mystery or a Sherlock Holmes mystery where, yes, this is the same detective in the story, but the murder mystery, whatever that he is in the middle of is not related at all to what we saw in Knives Out.
If you're not familiar with any of them, if you didn't listen to our Knives Out episode yesterday or the day before, I don't know when it's going out.
So we're going to release this one on Saturday as a review, and then Monday is when the Knives Out episode will come.
So Knives Out in general, the series is a whodunit mystery, which I think most people, regardless of your favorite genre of movie, most people dig like a good whodunit. Like I think it's one of those genres that kind of surpasses, like if you're into thrillers and horrors, if it's a good whodunit, you like it. If you're just into like mysteries and fun, you know, movies, you're into a good whodunit. And I mean, if you're a James Bond fan and you are missing your Bond, I feel like this was such a great transition. We kind of got a Knives Out sandwich with the last Bond movie, right?
Right.
And Daniel Craig as this character for me is a big win. And I think Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig together make a really good PB&J. I think like that mixture is delicious. Rian Johnson is so fun in his writing. And I think they're two very, very different vibes in each.
Definitely. This is not just a remake or a it's like Jake said, they took what worked in the first one and then they twisted it and made it different, but it's still the familiarity that you know.
But the first one's very like, it's got some very serious moments that seem super dark, and this one has some really dark moments that seem really cheeky. You know what I mean? And so, but it's still like you've got the darkness, you've got the whodunit, you've got this like murder mystery kind of thing in both of them. And I just think he's found something here, and I hope we at least get one more with Daniel Craig as this character before Rian Johnson is like, I need to mix it up again. But
I really like him. Benoit Blanc is up there as one of my favorite detectives in fiction now. And Daniel Craig plays him so well. I mean, similar to Knives Out, through the whole thing, he plays dumb so well. Like, well, I don't know. I just kind of fell upon all this stuff. And it's like, but you know, he actually knows what's happening. And he's like, he just does it really, really great.
There's a great monologue where he explains a crime in this one that is just it's so well performed and so well written. And that was the thing I loved about both of these movies is Rian Johnson really writes fun dialogue, and there's a lot of it. This is a very dialogue heavy movie,
but you don't feel like it. You don't feel like you're being hit over the head with words,
right?
No. It just flows so naturally and so easily. And part of that is this is a stellar cast. When you look at the actors that are in this, I mean, Edward Norton is so good in this movie, and he's good in a lot of things that he does.
You forget how good he is.
Yeah. I mean, actor wise, he's pretty decent in a lot of the stuff that he does. And
I would agree with that.
I mean, that's the thing is like, when I see that Edward Norton is going to be in something, I'm like, all right, I got to get myself ready. Because and I really love Knives Out, and I really, really love a lot of the cast that is in this. But I was like, we're either gonna get like Edward Norton, where it's like him being him but acting like he's not being him, or we're gonna get Edward Norton vanishing into a character. And as much as I don't love Edward Norton, and you can send me some hate mail, whatever. He is really good at playing this douchebag character.
Yeah.
Like, and
he is in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, he is, and what I feel about both of the Knives Out movies, but especially this one, is that Rian Johnson does a really good job at giving you characters that you already know. Right. In the first Knives Out movie, we're all related and or know somebody that's related to each one of those characters, right? We know these people. In this movie, you know people on social media or maybe in real life that are these people as well. And so you already feel attached to these characters without even really knowing them, because he does a really good job at giving you people you already know, right? Yeah. And with this, Edward Norton, whether he just said, you know what, I'm just going to lean in on my douchiness because this is a really good script and a really good movie. He did a really good job at this character. Like, I had to give him I was like, at the end of the movie, I was like, all right, Edward Norton. All right, little Eddie. One in a row.
All right, well, that's good. We'll give you that. I mean, I get it. Like, and he's not everyone's cup of tea.
We've talked about this before, but I am becoming more and more of a fan of Dave Bautista. Like,
yes,
he is not the best actor. He's never going to win an Oscar, right? But he continually surprises me. Like, he brings different things to the role, and I think he might be he's up there with like John Cena in terms of the wrestler turned actor who has surprised me the most.
I think I agree. I think this movie is his best role to date from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Like, I enjoy him as Drax, but let's be honest, Drax
Blade
doesn't
Runner,
take a
man.
lot of
Blade
acting.
Runner.
Yeah.
Blade Runner is good. He's going to be even better in the second one because that character is going to get a lot more to do.
That character's better, but I do like Jake. I do agree with you on this. Like, this is better than Drax.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And I feel like, okay, here's the thing. Dwayne Johnson is probably the most
Yes.
he is the most successful to make the jump from the professional wrestling world into acting. And he had a charisma and a like a screen presence as a wrestler that you could tell he was going to do great things. Dave Bautista never really had that as a wrestler. And so when he started getting into movies, I'm like, I just don't see him doing much more, but this is so good. He is so good in this role. I just enjoyed him the whole time.
His role as a men's rights YouTuber was
well, and I think he's being smart with his roles, because if you look at The Rock's initial roles, that's funny, The Rock's initial roles. I didn't mean to do that, but
The Rock and his roles.
They were not great roles, but he was smart in picking things that didn't push him too far, but that you could really only see him in. They were, and I think Bautista, I think he has some acting chops, but I think he's being very specific in the roles that he's choosing, because picture someone else in this role. Like, it would have been okay, but it wouldn't have been as ridiculous. And that's what we're looking for here. This movie and these characters in this specific one, Glass Onion, they are all at like the most cheeky, most ridiculous. At the same time, though, we all know who these people are in real life.
And with a lesser writer and a lesser director, this could have gone off the rails so fast.
It wouldn't have won. And I'm excited because, like, Catherine Hahn, again, people are so in love with her, and I'm like, yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, she's fine.
But she had moments in this movie that she was exactly like everything else we've seen her do. But then she had moments where I was like, that was a cool flash of awesome right there. You know what I mean? And Kate Hudson's Kate Hudson. I'm a little upset. Like, her character didn't go too far off of what I've seen her do all through the early 2000s, but it worked. But for me, like, other than Daniel Craig, seeing Janelle Monáe get this part, because I have been a fan of hers forever. Her music is amazing. Her music videos have pushed boundaries. Her roles in other movies have been so incredible. She is so captivating on screen.
She is.
And for her to get this specific part was so cool.
Yeah. And she was, in there with the heavy hitters that we've named, and just really delivered. And she has a bright future ahead of her. And I think this role really puts her into that spotlight. I hope it does. It should, even more than she was already in it. So I thought she was fantastic in this. We didn't get any singing from Leslie Odom Jr. I mean, there was.
I know. Leslie Odom Jr., every time I see that he's in something, I get so excited, because he is my favorite cast member from Hamilton. And
for sure.
When I watched Hamilton during the pandemic, like 350 times, just like everyone else, I was just enamored with him. And when I downloaded the soundtrack, I will still just turn on his songs, not to be against anyone else. And then I downloaded all of his regular music. And then he's been in 3 or 4 movies since Hamilton, just as kind of these side characters. And I was so excited in this, because I knew if he was in this ensemble cast, he was going to get, like Tracy said, some great dialogue. And he did. And I love him. And he does such a great job that I almost think that you kind of forget who he is and that he's there, because it's so flawless and so genuine.
Yeah. I agree. I think the acting was great. The cast was incredible. The story was so well written. Another great job by Rian Johnson to tell this story, and the way he did it. He brought something, like you said, Tracy, he kept everything that worked in Knives Out, but then he brought new stuff in with Glass Onion and built on it. And I love that. I would love to see, like you said, Val, at least one more Benoit Blanc mystery.
Rian Johnson's already said that he's writing the next one. He's due to get back to Star Wars, and he's like, I'll get there, but I'm having too much fun with this right now.
Here's the thing.
I would rather have 2 more of these before he goes back to Star Wars.
Yes. And it's not, I love Last Jedi. You guys know I am a Last Jedi defender. I love that movie. And I would love to see a Rian Johnson Star Wars trilogy. But the thing is, there are other people that can do Star Wars. There's nobody else that can do a Knives Out movie. Yep. So I want more of these before. And when Knives Out came out and then I heard they were doing a sequel, I was one of the first ones to be like, I don't think they need a sequel. I don't want a sequel to Knives Out. And then I saw this movie. I'm like, I want 17 more of these, please.
But if he has to put all the time in between them that he needs to get that smart writing, and I think, now people know that they are cult classics, and that's really funny to say because you usually have to be around for a long time to become a cult classic. But I think Rian Johnson himself is a cult classic.
I agree.
People just, they will go see anything that he does. They will read anything that he writes. Following him on Twitter is an experience sometime. Like if you want to go out and follow his genuine conversations with people about like the movies and the world going on around him is pretty cool. But give me another smart thing. This movie is what I wanted. What was that movie? Something on the Nile that came out.
Death on the Nile.
Death on the Nile could have been this movie, but the writing was boring as hell.
It was, and it was kind of a whodunit should be fun. And Death on the Nile wasn't.
And it had moments where you're like, oh, it's going to get there. And then it just poops its pants.
Nothing. Yeah.
Well,
this one to me, this is entertaining all the way through.
Yeah.
Knives Out takes a little while to ramp up.
Yeah.
It does.
20, 30 minutes, you're like, okay. And then it takes off. And this one, it hits the ground running and it doesn't stop. It's just entertaining.
Yeah.
Well, this one, I like it introduces some additional mystery in that Knives Out doesn't really do. And it does it from the beginning. So there's like these little mini mysteries that kind of get solved along the way before you get to the main course. And I liked how it built that way. So I really enjoyed it.
Changes like halfway through the film.
Yeah, it does.
All of a sudden you're like, oh, this is going in a different direction than I thought it was going to go.
Yes. So if you're wondering this Christmas weekend and you're done with the Christmas movies and you see this is on Netflix and you enjoyed Knives Out, if you're wondering if you should see it, my vote is yes. I give this one a grade. This is a rare one for me. I'm giving it an A+. I could watch it again and again, even though once you know all the stuff, you go back and you rewatch it and you're looking for all of the clues that are placed throughout it. And it's just funny. It's just enjoyable to watch. So I'm giving it an A+ grade.
I'm going to go A. I don't know if I'd go A+ because that's really rarefied air, but
I get it.
I enjoyed the heck out of this movie. The casting was just fantastic. The script writing is smart. The cinematography is gorgeous, although they still have a problem with CGI flames, but that's a whole different issue. But it's so much fun. Definitely check it out. Even if you haven't seen the first one, check this one out.
Yep.
Go back and watch the first one. You don't have to have seen them both to enjoy it.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, this one's an A for me. It was so much fun. I couldn't wait to tell my dad to come and watch it. And I was really upset because I got the Knives Out box for your consideration, which I was going to wear the hat and the t-shirt and then I forgot about it. But I have a hat that says Rian Johnson on it because I just think that's so funny. If you know what happens in the movie, just all of this self-promotion, just to be set a hat with his name on it. And then the t-shirt has the names of every cast member on the front because I'm just going to walk around wearing a cast, and then on the back it's some birds, double birds.
Yep. We know you're a fan of birds. Well, we know how you like birds,
right? But it was just so much fun. And I got that, and I have the soundtrack and I have the score, but for some reason it's a mystery. The movie is gone. I can't find the disc of the movie. I don't know what happened to it. Dun, dun, dun. But like halfway through the year, I'm sure next year in 2023, I'm going to be cleaning something and I'd be like, haha, here it is. But I was super bummed because I just wanted to show my dad, because we're both huge fans of mysteries and we're both huge fans of all of these actors. And so he finally got to see it. And he loved it, of course. So I just, for me, it's an A. It's so much fun. There is some blood, but I think they do it in a great way, that it's not like this gory film.
Yeah,
there's some adult things, but it's not uncomfortable adult things.
No,
I think it'd be fine with older kids. Yeah.
So there you go. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. It is available to stream right now on Netflix. We highly recommend it. It's fun. Let's be honest, you've watched plenty of Christmas movies this year. Go ahead and put this one on, and I think you'll enjoy it. That is it for our review of this. Stay tuned on Monday. We will have our regular episode, and we're talking about Knives Out, the first in this series. And make sure you follow us on social media. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video if you haven't already. And until next time, we won't see you at the movies.
Merry Christmas.
This has been an Age of Geek media production.